Hi, folks. This is going to be a little bit longer video, but I'm going to try and keep it to less than 10 minutes just as we go through it. But this is the first um, one that I'm going to introduce about how to do the Seder at home, or what we call the Haggadah. So here it is. It's the Holy Week Seder Series. This is video one, and I want you to, if you can, go back on Facebook, and if you need a copy of this, feel free to email me, and I will be glad to get you a copy of this. It's in a PDF form, and you can print it off. You can have it. You can make copies of it for your entire family. You're going to want to use it this week just so that they can have something in their hands, because the Seder itself is very, very experiential. It's very, well, let me just get right into it, and I've got some videos, some slides here to share with you, okay? So here we go. What I want you to, so I want you to focus on three things. This is for family participation and heart preparation for celebrating the resurrection, more than for this to actually be a Seder meal. It really can't be a Seder meal because one person would host the whole thing and they would walk everybody through this. So we're just going to take a little bit of each and kind of point to the major theme of what's going on as we go through this each and every day. So we're going to have 5 different opportunities of experience through the week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and you can put them together how you'd like, but I'll make those up for you. And you just want your family to gather together to experience this. Remember, the second thing to focus on is this is about making an impact as parents and grandparents in your family's lives. It's not about strictly focusing on doing everything that this manual tells you to do, or even everything that I'm telling you to do right here. Really focus on being creative, sincere, fun. Make this an experience that your family really looks forward to each night, something new and different and creative that you're going to do to build towards the resurrection on Sunday. And then the third thing I really want you to focus on is this is about learning together more than about teaching facts and figures. Focus on this experience, what you're doing together, how you all are learning instead of Moses did this then, these were the 10 plagues, can you list them off, or anything of that nature. I really want you to focus on experiencing this together. Now, the next thing I want you to look at is this, the Haggadah. So say that with me, and make your family say this too. It's Haggadah. Kind of stick your tongue in the top of your roof of your mouth and do that, kind of almost like you're gonna spit. I'm sorry, but that's the best way to do it. It's a Haggadah, and it really is the telling of the story of how God saved Israel by leading them out of Egypt. It's about the Exodus. It's about them packing everything up, them being saved from the angel of death as it went across the nation of Egypt, and took the lives of the Egyptians, but spared the Israelites because of the blood that was put over the door. I want you to realize, too, that Seder, a Haggadah, is the retelling. That's what the booklet is. It's the Haggadah booklet. It's the retelling of the story of salvation for the nation of Israel. The Seder, the meal itself, is the order through which this retelling takes place. And Seder simply means order. Okay, so it's like having a 7-course meal, a 5-course meal. There's an order that happens to it, and the way that they bring it out. And so that's all that we're going to do. Really focus on the issue, though, not of the booklet or the Haggadah or the Seder, the meal and the order of it. Really think about, this is how God saved Israel. This is how God saved Mom and I. This is how God saved Grandma and I. And this is what he can do for you. That was the whole reason that this was commanded for the Israelites to do this every single year, is to remind them that God still saves. This is how he saved your family and your nation in the past. This is how God still works in our lives today, and this is how he will save you in the future. It's about sharing the story of salvation and that experience. So that's what you really want to focus on. So this retelling is about experience. So focus on tastes. There's recipes that I'm going to give you. There's experiences about doing certain games and the little die that they roll, and we'll talk about that. Singing, reading together. Sit down and watch the Ten Commandments over again and experience that together so that you can share that. It's about feelings. Don't be afraid of the feelings. Oh, I don't like that. The bitter tastes. All of that kind of stuff. It's to help them realize, as if they're reliving in this moment exactly what God did for the nation of Israel on the night that he saved them from the angel of death. Use this particular guide if you can, the participant's guide, and I put right in here, I want you to go to read through, if you can tonight, through to page 6. It's going to look like this. And I want you to go down to section number 2, where it talks about the preparation and removal of the shemets. Don't worry about whether you get through all 6 pages or anything like that. Don't worry about that. Just kind of go through and use it. Show the picture of the Seder plate and what the objects are on it. You really want to participate with the kids, and we're going to get to some of those answers later on, and I'll explain those. So don't worry about covering everything. Really focus on how God uses everything in our lives to lead us to salvation in him from the slavery of sin. This whole story is about how God led the nation of Israel out of the bondage and slavery of Egypt into his freedom and salvation. So we want to focus on that storyline as well. Those are the major themes. Here, when you finish reading what you think is important and spending that time, I really want now for you to focus more on this section of it, the retelling, if you will, of your story of salvation. Remember, don't make it long and drawn out, detailing every single little tiny, minute aspect of your life. Share those big things. Retell how Jesus saved you. As the parents, the patriarch or the matriarch, the mom of the family or the dad of the family, you need to share how Jesus saved you so that it will build into the experience of your children and your grandchildren, that God can do the same for them. I want you to focus really on 4 questions and keep your story, if you will, to about 4 minutes. Now look at on the slide, I've got some things in parentheses. Don't time yourself. Okay, I did it in 4 minutes or less. And don't panic over it. Make this really normal. Just as I'm sharing with you right now, as much as you folks don't videotape yourself, but share normally with your family, just the way you normally would share about a memory that you had with grandma and grandpa, or a memory that you had growing up, your first car, or the first time you ate spaghetti or something like that. Share it just really short, really all about you. Make it about you. Okay? Answer the questions your family has. As you're telling the story, answer. If one of them says, oh, wait a second, what about this? Try and answer it, but just stay focused on your story of salvation, how Jesus saved you. Don't get caught up in the rabbit trails of, well, what does that mean? Or that. Just share how Jesus saved you. Don't chase those rabbits. Now, these are the 4 questions I want you to ask. Okay, you can jot these down. I'll leave it on this particular slide for a little bit before I go into the other ones. Very generically answer, what was my life like before Jesus? I grew up in 1950. We didn't have all the games and stuff like that. I didn't. I grew up in the 70s. I was born in 69. But, what was my life like before Jesus? I really wasn't that bad, but there were just things that weren't there. And yeah, I did things wrong. I didn't obey, or maybe you got arrested. I mean, some of that might be all those things that are leading you to be saved by God. God uses everything. Remember, that's the whole reason we're retelling this. The second question is, what brought me to realize I needed Jesus? Don't get into the little details if you struggle emotionally or somebody took advantage of and abused you or anything like that. But what brought you? I felt all alone. I didn't think that I had any friends. And little Jimmy came over and said, hey, do you want to come to Sunday school with me? Try to keep it generically like that, but also enough information where the folks that you're sharing with, your family, can kind of connect some of those dots themselves to their lives, because that's what salvation is about. The story of salvation lives generation to generation. Okay, you are impacting the next generation with how you're sharing. You don't have, you're not going to be the one who saves them, but how you share about Jesus impacts the next generation to want the same salvation you have right now, the same peace you have right now. Question number 3, how did I start my relationship with Jesus? Just simply, I bowed my head and I prayed, Jesus, will you save me? I don't want to live like this anymore. Thank you for saving me from my sin. Don't make it drawn out into 17 different steps the way we theologically do it. Just, how did I start my relationship? I just said, you know what? I need Jesus, and I bowed my head and I prayed. Something simple like that. The fourth question is, what was my life been like since Jesus saved me? It hasn't always been roses, but Jesus has been with us. So share how he's been with us and how he cares for us and how he's helped you through some difficult times. And then at the end of all of this time, this experience that you have with your family tonight, just pray together. Just gather them together and don't make it long. Just pray, Lord, just help us really realize how important celebrating the resurrection is and why retelling our stories is so important, just to living and loving you. Okay, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to email me or anything like that. Get a hold of me somehow, whether it's through texting, phone call, emailing, messenger. I'm sure we can come up with 17 new ones by tomorrow as well. But get a hold of me, and I'll be glad to answer the questions for you. Really have fun with this, and take the time to spend time with your family doing this, because this is going to be really, really important. In the long run, I think you're going to find that this is really important. This is what I want to leave you with. Now have fun. Don't make this work. Just have fun. Enjoy this time. And I want you to realize through all of this that no time in history, any time in history, have we ever been given this incredible opportunity as we have right now, by being quarantined and having stayed together as a family across the entire world. Just realize this. No time in all of history have the stop signs gone up and said, you can't enter. No, you have to go away. We have to stay here. We don't want this illness or anything like that. Through this, you have the powerful opportunity to share the power, the glory, and grace of salvation offered to us by God through his son, Jesus. Redeem this time and build memories with your family. Have fun.